Hello everybody, my name is Elisa with 8Es, and today I'm going to bring you a pretty interesting TvT one-on-one. And the players are going to be Sorcery. He's in the Grandmaster League with 290 points at rank 172. His opponent is going to be GGLastShadow, aka AJTLS. He got a lot of flack a while back for being one of those guys that likes to pull SCVs and attacks, but anyway, he is rank 138 in the Grandmaster Division as well. Alright, the map is Metalopolis. GGLastShadow will be spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the red Terran. His opponent, Sorcery, will be spawning as the blue Terran in the 8:30 o'clock position. And Sorcery actually got a lot of shit, and I mean a ton of shit a while back for, well, not a while back, but I think about a month ago actually, for map hacking on the account IGWare. And he actually got IGWare to rank 1 in the world before ProTech actually started posting replays and analysis of those games. And Sorcery actually came out and made a confession on Team Liquid and said yeah, he was map hacking and he promised he wouldn't do it again. And so now he actually streams all of his games. So if you guys still think he map hacks or his play seems questionable, go ahead and check out his stream. It is on Justin TV, and I think the channel name is called Sorcery Owns. I'll put a link to it in the bottom area. So he's a very good team player. He likes to focus on team games, and not, he doesn't really like 1v1 for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, he actually put down his gas at 11, and so this is gonna mean a really fast factory. Basically for Terran, as you can get a gas a little bit later if you want to go Reapers. AJTLS or Last Shadow is playing standard. I think that was a 12 racks, probably going to go for it. 13 gas right about now. Here's 13 gas. And so Sorcery's build was actually 11 refinery and 13 racks, and what this allows you to do is right when you have your barracks finish, you can actually put down a factory immediately. This is actually a team game build, and what this allows you to do is get Hellions, two of them out at around 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Got it. Press pause again. I'm trying to find out the production. There it is. It's D. Gotta remember that. Anyway, you get 2 Hellions out at 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and what Sorcery is going to do is right when this Rex finishes, he's going to put down a factory right next to it, and then right after he gets 50 gas, he's going to get a reactor, and then he's going to go for the orbital and a supply depot. And so I've actually played a lot of team games, so I know the build pretty well. AJTLS looks like he's going to be getting his factory pretty soon, right when he probably reaches 100 gas. Probably going to get a supply depot sometime soon too. It's actually at 18 supply, and this is going to actually cause a little bit of supply lock once that Marine finishes. He's at 19 supply right now and still no supply depot, so a little bit late on the supply depot from Last Shadow, and it's these kind of small mistakes that are actually going to make huge ripple effects later on in the game. And as you can see, he's pulling off 2 SCVs and 2 Marines. Now, I don't know if this was actually built into his build, but it would definitely contribute, the supply lock actually would definitely contribute to it, because whenever you're supply locked, you actually want to get tech buildings or attachments on if you're Terran, or you can go and trade units basically with your opponent. And so we see that AJTLS is running in with 3 Marines and 2 SCVs. And as you can see, Sorcery actually already did the swap for his Hellion, so they should be coming out around 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And Sorcery actually sees this, but he probably didn't see the Marines in the back, so he's trying to pull off a little bit of SCVs. He's gonna let those SCVs tank for those Hellions, and all he has to do right now is either kill the SCVs or kill the Marines. And it does look like Sorcery is going to be going for the Marines. He already got 1 Marine and microing those Hellions back and forth, and it's imperative that you actually pull the Hellions back after they do a hit, because their DPS is so low that a Marine can do significant damage to a Hellion before the Hellion actually kills it. And so the whole strength of the Hellion is their speed, and you actually do need to micro them in order to make them cost efficient, even against Marines. And as you can see, AJTLS is putting a wall of buildings, engineering bay, and supply depot, because he knows that you can't really defend against Hellion pressure with just pure Marines, since Hellions are actually pretty good at Marines. They can just bypass them and just run straight towards your mineral line. And so he actually put down a supply depot. Probably should have used waited a little bit longer to give it a little bit more health. But anyway, he's just going to clog it with Iraqs now. And the thing about TvT is if you're getting harassed by Hellions and lower ground, first you can't use Marines because Hellions are really good against Marines. And you can't repair your buildings because if you go and repair your buildings, you're just going to get destroyed. Your SCVs are just going to get destroyed. In the meantime, actually, Sorcery proxied a starport on this side, and this is obviously so it couldn't get scouted. And he actually built a medevac with his first starport. You usually see people going Banshees, but a medevac is actually a lot better if you do have Hellions, because this is what Sorcery is going to do. He's just going to go in and completely shit on his mineral line. He's not going to do that much damage because of the siege tank and the nice spreading from Last Shadow. And the thing about making your harvesters cost efficient against Hellion harassment is that sometimes if they have a ton of Hellions, like four normal Hellions is warranted, or it probably is a good idea to pull off, but if you have 4 Blue Flame Hellions, pulling off may not be the best idea, just because when you pull off you're going to cause them to stack more than normal, and so they're actually, you might actually lose more. And so it looks like Sorcerer's doing a second Hellion drop. I think he actually rallied Hellions to the low ground using his medevac yet again. And he's just going to be going ahead and killing more harvesters. Taking a look at the income tab right now. Last Shadow is significantly behind in the income, and he actually has a Banshee going towards Sorcerer's face. So this is really, really intense multitasking in the early game of Terran vs. Terran. Since there's a lot of variety of openers, it's really micro-intensive if you guys are both going for a heavy harassment style game. So it does look like Sorcery is going to have a Banshee in his face. He doesn't really have any anti-air to speak of whatsoever, and he won't be able to get some actually in a while. And so Sorcery actually coming in with his own Banshee, so both players having Banshees in their bases and no anti-air to speak of. It does look like Last Shadow is going to have less harvesters, so he's not going to be able to tank it as hard. And he's building a Viking in the meantime, so he actually canceled that eBay, and is going to be moving out with his tank. Now I really like this play because he knows that he can actually have a good plain view of Sorcerer's base. He knows that the only units he can basically build are Hellions, and if he lands that barracks, maybe 1 Marine by the time he gets there. So moving in siege tanks with during the meantime while his Banshee harasses is actually a really good idea. And Sorcery really cannot do anything about this. Even if he gets that missile turret up, it won't even matter. Siege tanks can kill it. And actually right now in his base, Last Shadow has 0 workers, a Viking, a Hellion, 2 siege tanks, and a Banshee. And Sorcery is actually forced to live. He does have 4 workers, however. And so he's just going to be moving them around. Now I think his plan this game was that he did have 5 Hellions. So 5 Hellions are probably not going to cut it against 2 siege tanks and a Banshee. So he really needs to get out those Vikings. And he actually does get 1 Viking out from his proxied starport. And that Viking does take care of the Banshee. So right now we have these 2 tanks going back to AJTL's base. He's slowly recovering from 1 mule and 1 SCV, and I think he was trying to build a command center in the meantime. And this may not be that bad of an idea, assuming that you can defend, just because you can get harvesters up twice as fast. And so we do have Last Shadow's 2 Vikings. They actually just moved past Sorcery's Viking, and they almost killed it, but Sorcery was able to defend it in time. This is very, very important for maintaining air control at such a low economic state. So right now it looks like Last Shadow will be moving in with 2 Hellions, 2 siege tanks, and 2 Vikings in normal landed mode. And actually Sorcery can't really kill that right now, but he does have 2 Vikings of his own, and his 2 Vikings are full health compared to Last Shadow's 2 Vikings at full health and red health. And during the meantime, actually Sorcery did a medevac drop. Sorry, I did not catch this. And so AJTLS has, sorry, I keep calling him AJTLS. I'll just keep calling him right now. I just know him as AJTLS. I don't actually know him personally, but Sorcery has a superior Viking count right now. So basically, what this means is that Last Shadow can't kill Sorcery's air units, and Sorcery basically can't kill Last Shadow's ground units because he's got siege tanks. And Sorcery actually took out the last of Last Shadow's air units. So right now, basically, Sorcery has a medevac with Hellions and 2 Vikings. And all he has to do is kill these 2 Hellions and 2 siege tanks. Now, since Terran units cannot be healed at all, every single hit matters basically right now. And so they're just having a ball, killing each other's buildings. I think, yeah, he's working on supply depots right now. And note that these 2 refineries are not, have not been killed yet by Last Shadow. And you're going to see why that's important later on in the game. So right now, 2 Vikings chasing the barracks, And the most important thing right now is to actually kill this orbital command, because that, unlike other races, orbital command can just spawn mules and eventually produce SCVs out of it. Now, there's a way to counter this, and that is to kill all the supply depots, and you can't actually make supply depots with mules. So you actually have to lose all your army and then make an SCV, or make sure you have supply depots, I guess. And Sorcery landing his supply depot right now, or orbital, but this has been seen. And so he's just moving around with his Hellions and Vikings, and putting the Hellions in his medevac. That starport looks like it's getting really low right now. And this is a point of the game where it gets to be a little bit not very action intensive. And this is obviously because they're having they're having a hell of a time trying to kill each other's buildings. GGLastShadow has the superior ground army. Sorcery, however, has basically all air units. And right now, Sorcery's main priority is to kill this orbital command. And he does something really cool here. He lands a Hellion, and so he's blocking the orbital command from landing with that Hellion and picking it up right as it's about to take damage. Right now, Sorcery actually does have the superior Hellion count, so he is able to do a little bit of damage to his enemy's Hellions. He's actually dropping Hellions on the high ground and landing his Vikings, and this is just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. LastShadow scans it, and I'm not saying weird as in bad, but I would just never think of scanning the high ground to kill Hellions and a Viking in this kind of situation. And so Hellions on the high ground still attacking, and he actually loses one of his Vikings right now. So basically, Sorcery has air control with one Viking, and LastShadow actually had an SCV that was there trying to repair it. And so this orbital command is at 300 health right now, and it's doing its best trying to land, but Sorcery is blocking it with his own orbital command. Sorcery needs to be careful, because he can't let his orbital get on fire either, because he can't repair it. And he's actually dropping Hellions right here in order to prevent it from taking damage. And so he has 3 Hellions right now, all in the red. Amazing control, all in the red, and that one Viking was able to kill his orbital command while he delayed just long enough to kill those Hellions. So right now Sorcery has a couple floating buildings, an orbital command with full energy, a starport, a factory, and Sorcery says he's going to AFK, and this is bad manner, and yeah, he actually does deserve this, because HATLS can't do anything to Sorcery's army. So basically this is Sorcery's game to win if he is actually able to kill the Hellions and the tank. And what he can actually do is slowly pick off any of these buildings, because right now there's no way HATLS can repair. So all he has to do is pick off any of these buildings. I don't even know why he said AFK, because well, because there's no way that HATLS can win, but there's definitely a chance that Sorcery can win at this point. And so what HATLS has to do is, because in order to prevent a stalemate at this situation, I think it's after 4 minutes that no one's mined minerals or produced buildings, he's just going to produce out of this factory and constantly cancel it. And what that's going to do is every time you produce one Hellion, it'll reset the countdown. So he says that he's never going to let this go into stalemate. I'll build cancel all day. And well, he was just revealed by that lack of orbital command. And so HATLS is really stubborn on not letting this game getting into a stalemate. Actually, he really wants to win. And you know, this is, I don't know if this is good or not, but players definitely make some of their own decisions. And well, that was a stupid statement. He's actually making 3 Hellions right now. This is going to allow him to have actually ground map control. And so I still don't know how he plans to actually end this game even with these Hellions. And Sorcery doing a little bit more unnecessary Hellion micro. And he actually lands his orbital back into space. And I think this is why he was doing the micro. HATLS knows that he has to protect his building, so he's just going to micro his Hellions in his base. And that's going to divert away attention from LastShadow. And so we actually have a scouting tank from LastShadow. He actually right-clicked up here, and the tank moved here, so that immediately told him that this was walled off. And this is very, very important, because Sorcery actually has this one SCV that was just finished, and he's mining gas right now. He's at 84, and the mules are collecting him a lot of money. And he actually uses his barracks and factory to tank while Italians slowly work away at his buildings. You see here that he's at 92 gas, and now he's at 96, and the unit's already in his base, so he's just at 100 gas, and now he lifts up his orbital and repairs the shit out of it right here. And he actually takes the Last Shadow's tech lab, and the problem is that he's at 10 out of 10 supplies, so he had to kill one of his own Hellions, and now he makes a Banshee. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but in team games and in 1v1, you can use your allies' tech labs, and you can even use your enemies' tech labs if they abandon them. So right now, 2 Hellions from Sorcery, they're really weak right now, but he does have a Banshee building, so he just got that 100 gas to make the Banshee. And AJTLS looks like he's going to have to get rid of that Banshee with the Hellions and Siege Tank somehow. And so that Banshee is in the making. Sorcery biding his time, still keeping his Viking up in the air. I'm not sure why, he could just be starting to pick away these buildings. He does have air vision right now. And so the Banshee is going to come out. And I don't know what Last Shadow is gonna do when he sees this Banshee. I think he just leaves the game. And so I thought this was a very interesting 1v1. The key point to this was that although they both lost the majority of their harvesters early on, Sorcery did a couple of things that was very important. He prevented the orbital from landing and killed it in time. And then he distracted AJTLS with his Hellions so that he could have time to mine that crucial 20 gas. And then finally, the tech labs were alive for Last Shadow, and this was actually the only tech lab in the map. And so, well, besides that one right there, actually. And so he actually took his allies' tech lab, or his enemy's tech lab, and used it against him. And this is actually one of the first instances of that I've seen, so I thought that was really interesting. My name is Elisa, and tell me what you guys think about in the comments. See you guys later. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, where you can see all my latest news and updates.